Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to briefly touch about search scopes into SharePoint. So what are different type of search scopes are there and how we can interchange or change the specific search scope for a particular site. So that we are going to see. So I have just opened three of my sites into SharePoint. So one is this site, which is a team site. So right now you can see in the search bar, I have searched this site, which means the search result would be targeted to this site only. And if I open the other side, so it's a communication site but a hub site, and there are many other sites which are connected to this hub site. So the default search scope is it will search across all the sites associated with the hub site. And the third one is search in SharePoint. So this site is actually a home site. If I go to my admin center, you can see the home site which is associated with my environment is this site. So by default, the search scope for this site is search in SharePoint. That means entire tenant. So all the site would be targeted for this search result across the tenant. So these are three search scopes which we can have into our SharePoint environment. So how to change the search scope? For example, if my requirement is like my company's intranet portal should be just searching into the local site, not to the entire environment. How you can switch or make the search scope like search this site only for this intranet, and as well as if we wish to change the search across sites to just search this site, probably which is not the right thing, because hub site should be searched across all the associated sites. But just for example, if I wish to restrict the search across all the sites, then I can simply change the search scope to this entire tenant into my hub site as well. So these examples we are going to take. So we are going to work with the PowerShell, PnP PowerShell specifically. So I'll just open my PowerShell window and I'll just say CLS so that I can clear this administration cell. So you can see SharePoint Online Management Shell I have opened with the administrator permissions, and we are going to work with the PowerShell a bit over here to change the search scopes. So I can show you that from my notepad where I have written what needs to be done. So if you are not downloaded the SharePoint PnP PowerShell, then you should install this module. You have to do this copy this command and run that on your SharePoint management cell so that it can download the module associated with the PnP, and later on then we'll start working with our site. So you have to write this command Connect-PnPOnline, your site name, and UseWebLogin so that we can provide the password to our site, the credentials to our site. So it is connected because I have already logged in. So that's why it made that connection. Otherwise, it will give me a pop-up where I can enter my credentials and I'll get to the next line. And in the next step, I would be just reading the Get-PnPWeb, the parent web. So I'll just paste this and it will be assigned to this variable web. And over here, so what scopes we have? So the scope lies is the number one is for tenant. If my search scope is equal to tenant, then that means it will search across the entire SharePoint site. And if my search scope is equal to 2, which means it will search across the hub sites, the sites which is associated with the hub site and as well as the hub site. And the third scope is equal to 3 if we want to just restrict the search results within that specific site. So right now, as I said, my source info, which is the intranet site, is searching across all the sites, but I want to restrict it to just search to my current site scope. So I'll just say web search scope equal to 3, and I'll paste that into this PowerShell window, and I have to call this update web so that the changes can be invoked and as well as Invoke-PnPQuery so that my changes can be reflected. So right now I just did that, and I'll go back to my site, make a refresh to check whether the scope has changed or not. So my intranet scope has changed to search this site only. So that's how we can change the search scope from entire SharePoint to just this site. And as well as I can update the scope to hub site, and again make a web update, invoke my query, and it will start giving me the scope as search site across this hub site. So now we have search across sites, as associate site would also be considered as a part of search results. So that's how you can switch back in between these scopes and can very well update using the PnP PowerShell. So the intent of today's video was just this, like to get you familiar with how many search scopes are there into our SharePoint and how you can switch back and forth, like if you wish to just restrict the search result across a specific site or a associated site. So that is for today. Thank you.